Thanks everyone for jumping on the call to talk about Electric Mirror. I actually have Stephen Lamacha here. He's the National Sales Manager for Electric Mirror. So he's going to be a little guest presenter today. So you're going to learn from the best. And I'll turn it over to him. Stephen.
Hey guys, I don't know about learning from the best, but hopefully you do learn something today. I appreciate you taking time out of your call, as Dan said, to listen a little bit about Electric Mirror. My background is I'm a master plumber by trade. I came to this company 8 years ago because this is the fastest growing segment in the bath business. And most of you folks know they're on the front lines. Everyone walks in your showroom now, whether any product line, they have a lighted mirror in the back end of it. Electric Mirror was the first one to make a lighted mirror 22 years ago. For the first 16 years, they only sold to hotels. They became so prolific in the hotels that people started asking for their homes, and they started the residential division about 9 years ago. I came on 8 years ago, and the product has been growing exponentially. As you know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry of different manufacturing ilk comes in and tries to sell you a lighted mirror now. So we do know we make the best lighted mirror that's out there. I can show you some of those differences now to help you when someone comes into your showroom to help you sell a little bit more effectively. So Dan jumped right to page 18, and that's where I like to start as well. By the way, Electric Mirror is made all in the USA except the makeup mirrors and the med cabs currently. We outsource the back box, the med cabs, the makeup mirrors we outsource because that's really not something we get into to begin with. We kind of fell into that, and I'll tell you how we fell into that when we get close to that in the book. But let's start on the lighted mirror assembly of different styles we have. So on page 18, we're going to start on the left-hand facing page of 18. You're going to see what we call our integrity mirror, where the lighting is inset to the mirror itself. That's one of our best sellers, as well as that's one that everyone's kind of knocked off, okay? In the middle of that same page, we have what we call our silhouette mirror. And you can see the frosting goes right to the edge. Anytime you see the frosting go right to the edge of the mirror like that, I call that a dual illumination mirror. What I mean by that mirror is designed to give you 65% wall wash, 35% front facial illumination, which means most of the lighting comes to the back of that mirror. That's our major hotel spec mirror. In 95 to 98% of the hotels you go into, this is what you're going to see specified. The reason hotels specify this is because by making it come from the back of the mirror, it's not as in your face as much, right? So if you check in a hotel late at night, you got to brush your teeth and wash your face. You don't stand in front of a bright light because it resets your circadian rhythm. It wakes you back up. They want to make sure you can get into your bed and get comfortable and fall asleep and have a good night's rest, right? Hence why you sit in hotels. Quick design application note too. Anytime you specify that into one of your applications, you really want 8 to 20 inches clearance around that. What you're going to find in a hotel, they box into the alcove. When they do that, you get a really bright light on the end of the end caps, but it doesn't get into the room the way it's supposed to, okay? It still will work. It's just not as effective, okay? On the right-hand facing of that same page, you see our Serenity mirror, which is strictly backlit. I always make a note to my folks in the showrooms, guys, whether it's foyers, walk-in closets, mudrooms, we sell a lot of lighted mirrors outside of the bathroom space. So when you're talking to general contractors and you have high-end home builders, let them know these applications are available as well. We sell a ton of those backlit mirrors to people doing them in foyers and high-end custom homes, okay? Last but not least for our design styles is our Radiance mirror, which Dan just brought up on page 19. You can see all the lighting's on the edge here. This is called edge lighting to us. It's our first foray, which we did about 2 years ago. All that lighting's done at a 45-degree angle on the mirror itself, so it sends all the light towards the center of the user's face. We actually made this for Nordstrom's. If you go to Nordstrom's, you go to the makeup counters in every Nordstrom's in the country, you're going to see a mirror that looks like this with 12 buttons on there, and the buttons change different light source colors. Again, so when women apply different makeup applications for different settings they're going to go into, this gives them a truer rendition of what they're going to look like. This mirror doesn't have those buttons. This is just for residential. We thought it'd be too much. And we will add some applications to this year in regards to lighting control. But right now, this is strictly dimmable from the wall switch. Comes in a gray matte frame and now a black matte frame, which we'll talk about a little bit when we get closer to the product themselves. Mirror glass technology. All my glass comes from the USA. We don't use any reclaimed or recycled glass from overseas. Again, you don't realize this. When we make a custom mirror for you, we throw away 5 to 7 pieces of glass every time we make a custom mirror. Every application, like a diamond, as you cut it, as it goes through the application, you have to put a light behind it. So you cut it, a light. You edge it, you put a light. You frost it, you put a light. You laser cut it again, you put a light. At each step we put a light behind it. Might not be to the last step we see an inclusion or a bubble or a seed. We throw that mirror away. So that's why people say, why is custom so expensive? That's part of it. And again, we use a much better glass. So less likely that to have happened. Okay, our glass comes with a 7-year warranty, free from corrosion and defects. And by the way, we use a coating on the glass now. It's almost impenetrable. It should never, ever, even in 50 years, should even corrode or break down. Okay. Dan, flip the page for me. There you go. Okay, so when it comes to mirror TVs, we make mirror TVs as well. So on the left-hand facing page, you can see the 3 types of glass we use for mirror TVs. We start you on the bottom, which is B series. B series stands for black when it's off. We never sold this in residential before. This was always a light commercial product or a hotel type product because we felt like when it's off, it looked a little undone when you see a black screen in the middle of the mirror. Now, in our world, when I say our world, I mean the residential plumbing showroom world. When we started making white standing free solid surface tubs, the In Vogue design product, we started making white on white bathrooms. The minute we did this, we started seeing a glare factor come from the TV sets. So when you make a white on white bathroom, white floor, white ceiling, white walls, and you put this product in there with a standard spectrum type glass application, what you're going to see is a little more glare to it. So in this application, you know, we tell people if the hot spot is really TV quality, like the guy goes in the morning and says, I want to be able to see the TV perfect, well, then you want to put him into B series. If he's okay with when it's off, it looks black when it's off, that's the best product from when it comes to visibility. Next, we migrate up to Spectrum, which is in the middle of the page. Spectrum used to be called AV glass, which stood for almost vanishing. And you can see when the newsman's off, the footprint remains, but the mirror is not as reflective as what's around there. So again, almost vanishing in the spot where it sits. Anytime we put lights inside the product, or there's a lot of natural light inside the room, we recommend Spectrum glass, okay? Now, the last one is the last one on the top side of the page, which is, Iris glass. And Iris glass is totally vanishing. You can see when the newsman's off, it totally vanishes. Now, it'd be cool to do this in the bathroom, but the problem is, you know, how we make these products is this. In the old days, they used to smoke a piece of glass. That's called one-way, two-way mirror. We don't do that. That'd be akin if I took everyone on this phone call to the theater this Friday night, we smoked a bunch of cigars, and then we watched the movie, right? You're going to see the movie, but you're going to look through the smoke screen. We use a V-foil product. The V-foil has a rating from 90 down to 20. So a V90 would look like a black piece of glass that's reflective, and a V20 would look like regular reflective mirror. The problem is the lower you go on the V scale, the more transparent it becomes. So you'd see the TV that sits behind there. So we're constantly playing with how do we get it so it's really reflective, at the same point still hides the components that sit behind there, okay? So those are the 3 types of glass we have for mirror TVs. Any questions come up with that, feel free to email myself or Dan or call us. More than willing to walk you through that piece. On the LED lighting side of the street, which comes on page 22 and 23, we talk about this a little bit. Electric mirror was the last one to emigrate to LED technology. Not that we didn't like the technology, we just didn't trust it. So, you know, when it first came out, the big buzz was it was going to last forever. And everyone bought into that. And then they quickly realized, hey, this stuff doesn't last forever, technically. Technically, it lasts forever, it's just not usable light, right? So you have great-grandkids going to be able to take a microscope, put it over that LED, that light emitting diode, and see some sort of light coming out of it, like that faint star you see off in the sky that never seems to go away. The difference is this: at one point, it's not functional. So it doesn't matter that it emits light. It's not functional. It's not usable for the person that's actually using it to light the room or the application they're in. So in our case, we were slow to do that. Now, what we found is this, is that over time, it comes down to really the efficiency of the LED. So as the LEDs get more efficient, we slowly migrated towards LED. But we couldn't be the major spec in 4- and 5-star hotels, have these mirrors turning blue, green, pink, and yellow, which they used to change color as well when they first started to die. And then having people wonder what happened in the mirror. So in our case, we didn't tell you this. We put programmable drivers in there. So if you notice, when we first went to LED or didn't have it, you could custom upgrade to it. It was expensive to do. The reason it was expensive to do that was because that driver was expensive. Now the driver would sense any loss of color hue or lumens, and we bring it back up. So in the process, the aesthetic user saw no change. The downside to doing that is you burn the LED out faster. But that's another upside to my product line. Compared to us, if you compare us to everyone else, my product line is fully serviceable. I can take the glass front off and service the driver or the LED strip in about 10 minutes. And to be honest with you guys, the one thing that's probably more likely to go in your LED product is the driver, not the LED itself. The driver, especially down in Texas where you guys have those rolling thunderstorms, right? You're more susceptible to having a power surge or something, and that's what could pop the driver. So in those cases, my competitors can't get at any of that stuff. The glass epoxy front, they tell you to throw it away and buy a new one after 1-year warranty. Mine, I give you a 7-year warranty, and I can service the unit at any given time. So within 10 to 20 minutes, I can service the driver LED strip, and I'm right back in business. I don't have to buy another product. I don't have to have the electrician come back. I have to do all those things, those steps again that are costly. So they might spend a little bit more for electric mirror up front, $300 or $400, but they're getting something with a 7-year warranty as opposed to 1, and serviceable as opposed to disposable, okay? All right, so on the dimming side of the street, dimming technology, Dan brought up page 24. We have 2 types of dimming technologies. One's called Keen and one's called Ava. The difference is Keen just does dimming, and Ava does dimming and light source change as well. So Keen, my Keen product only comes in silhouette. That's the one where the frosting went right to the edge, and I call it dual illumination. We did that in dimming only because it didn't make sense to use that for makeup because, again, most of the light comes from the back, right? It surrounds you from the back and comes towards the front. So in that case, we didn't do Ava, which is light source color change. Now, if you have a customer that wants it, by all means, that's another value add to Electric Mirror. We customize everything. So we can do anything you want to do. We just want to make sure you're aware of that. Might not be conducive for the best efficient application you're doing it. But if that's what you want, that's what we're going to give you. In some applications, for some people, it does work, okay? So if we flip the page, like in our case, light-sensitive people that are light-sensitive people, they want a silhouette, but they want 2700 Kelvin. They don't want that 46 every time starting out. Gives them a chance to get that 3000 starting out. Gives them a chance to get that lower light source color. We have had people request that due to light sensitivity. So if you look at Ava technology on the bottom of the page, or let's go back to Keen. Keen, you touch it once, it comes on page 27. Night glows the second touch. Third touch is off. If you statically hold your finger to it, it raises the light illumination level up and down depending on what you want in that spot at that time, okay? That's Keen and only comes in silhouette. Ava comes in everything else. Ava's multi-light source color and dimming. So if I touch it once, I get 2700 Kelvin. If I touch it a second time, I get 4600 Kelvin. If I touch it a third time, I get 6500 Kelvin. If I hold my finger to it, at each one of those levels, I get illumination level I want. If I touch it a fourth time, it goes in the night light mode, and the fifth time shuts it off, okay? So if Dan flips the page for us one more time, there you go. You can see how it gives you an interactive user guide there on page 29. 1 touch, 2 touch, 3 touch, 4 touch, 5 touch gets it to off. Static dimming underneath that. That explains Ava technology. About 56% of what we sell today goes out the door with Ava in it. People have really liked Ava. The other thing I want you to do, guys, if you get a chance when you showroom, walk up to my Ava switch and touch it as fast as you can and look at how fast you can cycle through the light source colors. You almost can't see it, it's so fast. Look at my competitors. There's a 2 to 3 second delay. That's because their switch isn't that efficient. It's a cheap knockoff switch that they don't make. They buy it from someone else. They try to integrate it into their applications. This is actually built for the product itself, okay? New for us on page 30 is our Savvy Smart Mirror technology. You heard me make mention, we make mirror TVs. This is a Savvy Smart Mirror. Now this does the same thing a TV does, as well as everything a computer can do as well. So people say, well, I don't know if I want a computer. Like I really want TV. This gives you TV and a computer. It's an Android-based application system. The reason it's Android-based because that's an open source platform. As you know, unlike Apple or the iOS system, which is proprietary, they don't give the source to everyone and let you do what you want with it. They vet it all first. So in our case, if you look at most of your showering products, all this stuff in our plumbing world that we use for applications, whether it be a control the shower, what have you, they all start with Android-based, and then they have someone port them over to iOS. We'll port to iOS at one point. We just got this off the ground. We felt like Android was the best application to go with first because all your shower applications and programs run off iOS as well, okay? So whether you're a Moen guy or a Delta guy or a Kohler guy or whatever you guys have in your showroom, you know, Cal Faucets, any of those guys, or the Steam guys, any of those guys have applications that integrate in with their programs. This can be integrated right into the mirror because once you download it, it becomes your user interface as well, okay? So that's the Savvy Smart Mirror. We'll come back to that a little bit later in the program as well. So now we get into the content side of the street. So real quickly, we launched our new Radius Corner collection this year. In the Radius Corner collection, we have 3 mirrors, which Dan and I will show you. The first one's going to be Aria. The second one's going to be Bella. The third one's going to be Isla, okay? Now, in the process of showing you these mirrors, this is a change from our standard, what we call squared corner collection. So our Integrity mirror, which now also comes as a rounded radius corner, you can see not only the mirror is rounded, but the inside lighting is rounding as well. So if you've got round discussions, round bowls, you want concentric design for a rounded type, modular typing look inside that bathroom, this gives you a little closer to this. Guys, when we first came out with this, I'm like, okay, rounded corners, it's cool. Until I saw it. When I saw it, I was overwhelmed by how clean it looks. What it does, it still looks contemporary, but takes a little of the contemporary edge off because it takes the sharpness out of the corners. And again, just concentric design, whether you're doing square discussions or round discussions, now we have a mirror that matches both. Okay, the other big reason we did it, the knockoff people can't do this. If I sell you a squared corner, a right angled corner mirror, and I'm off by 1 or 2 degrees, you probably won't see that 1 or 2 degrees being off, especially if it's above 28 inches. In a rounded radius corner, the minute I'm off by 1 degree, the mirror looks like it's sloping a little bit. So not the best way to go about that. So in this case, this gives you a chance to show our core competencies off to the rest of the world as well. That's why we did it. That's another reason we did it. Okay, so that's what you're looking at on the left-hand facing page is Aria, and that matches up our Integrity. Dan's also brought up Bella on the right-hand facing page, and that's a knockoff, or I should say a colleague to my sister line of Fusion. So if Dan flips the page for me one more time. Now you can see Bella. That's Bella in a side-by-side application. I gotta be honest with you, this was stunning. We've already got a ton of calls for these from like people in the healthcare industry, people in the beauty industry, people in the boutique design industry where they're doing like long full-length mirrors that they just love this look. This has been really well received. Okay, we'll show you the the Isla in a second, but let's jump into Eternity first. So in our line, we have two round mirrors. One's Eternity and one is Trinity. They both sound the same in the name. The difference is Eternity has a mirror band around the lighting, which you see right here on page 40. And Eternity comes oval as well. So it comes oval, 21 by 30, then 30, and then 36-inch in diameters. And they come base model and base model with Ava. Okay, so they either have dimming from the wall switch or internal dimming with it on the front of the mirror. By the way, I didn't make mention this. All the mirrors are dimmable. If you don't get Ava technology, the mirror's still dimmable. They're just dimmable from the wall switch. Some people don't like the button in the front of the mirror. They think it's intrusive to the mirror field, and they're also concerned about fingerprints. And then when they say that, I go, aha, you don't see fingerprints on an electric mirror. You know why? Almost impossible to do. Unless you're working with that Oklahoma clay that they have down there, or Play-Doh, you can't get fingerprints on my mirror. We put a coating on there, and unless you use astringent cleaners to strip it off, it's near impossible to get fingerprints on the mirror unless you have something on your hand that's really caustic in that sense. So in our case, warm soapy water is the only thing you clean glass or mirrors with. If you guys have big showroom windows, the guy comes once a year to clean the windows out front, ask him what's in the bucket. If he tells you more than warm soapy water, I'll give you $1 million. Never lost that bet. People get confused. The only thing you ever put on glass or mirrors is warm soapy water. All that other stuff is caustic and is going to break down the glass, or in this case, when there's a mirror applied to it, it'll break down the mirror backing as well. Okay? So that's Eternity for us. If Dan flips the page for us, now you see a nice lifestyle shot of the Eternity mirror in the background. And on the right-hand facing page is Isla. And that's the last of the Round Radiance corner selection. And this is my colleague's sister to my Silhouette. You can see the frosting goes right to the edge like the Silhouette. Both the mirror internally is rounded as well as the frosted edges are rounded. Okay, so that's the third and the final sister mirror to my Rounded Radius corner collection. And there's a nice lifestyle shot on the left-hand facing page. On the right-hand facing page, you see Fusion, which made mention its sister colleague in the Radius corner is Bella. Dan flips the page for me one more time.
And let's go over the width by height measurement as well.
Okay, so guys, great, you brought that up, Dan. So when you look at my model numbers are always the first three letters of the product and then the size of the product. So if you look at this Integrity that Dan brought up for us, it says Integrity, the first one says 24 by 36. So INT for Integrity, 24 is the width, 36 is the height. Our mirrors are always measured width by height because, as I made mention, part of the competitive advantage we give you is my mirrors are serviceable, and they're serviceable by the glass fronts being lifted off. So that's why you can't change it. So let's say Dan had a showroom consultant call and said they wanted a 24 by 36, but they ordered 36 by 24 by accident. They transpose the numbers and writing them down. They call up and say, hey, can we change that? Can we turn it sideways? Unfortunately, you can't turn it sideways. Number one, if it had Ava, the button would be down on the right-hand side of it. And then the second thing is the glass could be susceptible to sliding off the front and falling onto the floor and causing damage, right? So that's good to know that we're always width by height, okay? Okay, so that's our Integrity side, showing you both base model and base model with Ava. Next is Novo. You see the frosted strips go right to the edge like that. So that's another one of those dual illumination mirrors, right? Comes 65 from the back, 35 from the front. Great in the side-by-side setting there, okay? Next on the right-facing page, page 50, is Radiance. I made mention of this. This is our edge lighting. All the lighting is done at a 45-degree angle, sending all the light towards the center of the user's face. Comes in two frame styles, a brushed silver and a matte black, which we launched this year. Matte black looks stunning. Gotta be honest with you. So if you're doing a white solid surface countertop with a black matte faucet and you put this above it, oh, it's a knockout. It really looks cool. And for my folks out there looking to see what's happening this year, coming in Q3 will be that same mirror in a round mirror. So it'll be called Brilliance. It'll become a Radiance collection will come with a Brilliance mirror called Round and Matte Black. We showed it at KBIS and IBS this year. Got rave reviews on it. That'll be my Q3 product launch. Okay, on the right-hand facing page is Serenity. Again, Serenity, backlit only, right? So guys, think outside the box. We do a ton of these in custom homes where they don't want to come to a bright light in the foyer, but they want some backlighting in the foyer. That's where we sell a ton of those. In the bathroom, make sure you always specify can lighting in the background. Otherwise, it might be a little bit darker in that room because the lighting comes from the back. especially if you put it into an alcove like you see there in front of you. It'll prevent the light from getting into the room better. You know, if that was a flat wall, the light would come into the room and envelop it a little bit more, where when it's in an alcove, it gets somewhat shuttered in there, okay? So make sure if you do this in a bathroom, there's some can lighting and some extraneous lighting in the background to help with the quality of the lighting aspect inside the bath. Shows you silhouette on the right-hand facing page. Again, silhouettes we just showed you Isla with round radius corner. This is the right angle corner silhouette. We sell a ton of silhouettes. It's our major spec in the 4- and 5-star hotels. Again, as you know, if you go in the hotels, it'll either say Electric Mirror, electricmirror.com in the right-hand corner of the frosting. Even in your mirrors, all say Electric Mirror there. In the hotels, some of them say .com, because we try to do is someone goes in a hotel in Vegas, they go, hey, I love this mirror, I want to get one. They go on our website, and they go, hey, Dan Fingerhut's the rep in Texas. All these locations are listed on the website. If you have our mirror on display, we list you on our website, and we make sure that we feed you those leads as they come into the showrooms. Make sure that someone locally wants to buy one, they get one from their local dealer in the showroom. Okay. Trinity, here's that my other round mirror. I mentioned we had Eternity. This is also Trinity. Trinity only comes round. It doesn't come oval. It's 30 inches in diameter, and then also you can see the lighting goes right to the edge like a silhouette. So this is that dual illumination mirror. This one actually has a diffuser on it, so it does push the light into the center of the room. And guys, the other thing is we custom make these. I just did 11 of these for a home in Hollywood that had 11 48-inch round mirrors. So when you walked in, every left-hand facing wall had one of these mirrors that came on a motion sensor at 40% of its light. It looked stunning. Gotta be honest with you. By the way, for those folks taking notes, for a round mirror, I can do up to 54-inch round radius mirror. That's the biggest I can do based on the size of the glass floats that we get. That's the biggest glass float you can get. So I don't think anyone can do a round one bigger than 54 inches. But if you've ever seen a 54-inch round mirror, looks like the moon. They're stunning. If you ever got any jobs you can put a big round mirror in, like a big home in Texas or something, I got to tell you, they look awesome. Okay. At the end of every section, Dan's showing some frequently asked questions too. At the end of every section is one of these little pages. This not only tells you everything about electric mirror, but everything you need to know about lighted mirrors. So this is a great reference source for you guys. Any questions, concerns you have, by all means, look at that frequently asked questions for lighted mirrors. Okay. Mirror TVs. So we told you, you know about Savvy, my computer-based TV. This is just a mirror TV. So bathroom TVs come 15.6 and 21.5 in size. You can see in the application there. Again, measured like a TV diagonally. Again, they come in 4 configurations. They come in a Fusion. They come in my Integrity. They come in a Loft. And the 4th one, which we don't show you, is my Custom and Silhouette, and then Custom as well with my 5th. Okay, so they come in 4 configurations. Mirror TVs come centered 4 inches up from the bottom. We move them about 30% of the time. We do custom charging to move them. I can tell you what we've seen in our history. Women tend to want them lower left and right. They put them in a powder room application where they don't want the TV right in front of their face when they're applying makeup. And men tend to put them top left and right. That's just what we've seen in history over the past life of selling these. We do sell a lot of these applications and a lot of these design applications for different bathrooms. So again, if someone didn't want a computer, they just want a simple TV, we'll still have these TV applications in the price book, but we'll be converting most people, we think, towards Savvy, because Savvy gives you everything a TV can do as well as everything a computer can do. Okay, so that's the mirror TV side of the street. Frequently asked questions. Now we get into smart mirrors, right? And I apologize for the Boston accent, not the fast talk. That is a smart mirror, like we say in Boston. I don't know, in Texas you guys probably say smart mirror. It's hard for me to say that. But the smart mirror it's a Android-based application system. It's a full PC that sits behind there. Comes in 3 configurations. Comes in 2 sizes of my Fusion mirror, which you see right in front of us. Dan flips the page for us. We'll see our Integrity comes in 5 sizes. You know, we sell more Integrity, so we added more to it. And then we have it in a Loft as well with 4 sizes in a Loft, as well as we can do custom with this as well. And as you can see, anything you use on an application on your phone, you can then load onto the mirror, whether it's you want to look at Netflix in the morning when you get in there. Let's say you're looking at something on Netflix and all of a sudden you say, hey, I want to Google that. You can bring up Google at the same time. You can split screen. You can run 2 screens at one time. The screen actually splits. You can open and close the screen via capacitive touch just with your finger, or you can do it via voice. The minute you download Google Assistant, it becomes voice activated as well. Okay. So anything you can think of in the bathroom you want to utilize in the morning, that brings it to your fingertips. Some more frequently asked questions for smart mirrors. By the way, I didn't make mention, my product comes with a 7-year warranty, except smart mirrors come with a 1-year warranty. Again, all computers come with a 1-year warranty no matter where you buy them. That's based on the fact that you could load something there that could corrupt them. I could change that computer on the back of that mirror in about 15 minutes. The hardest part about changing, whether it be a TV or a computer on the back of the mirror, is making sure I put the glass down in a safe spot and don't crack the corners. Believe it or not, that's the hardest part. It's 5 screws, it's in and off, it's really quick. Okay. Med cabs, we make 3 styles of med cab. My Ambience med cab you see right here, lighting goes fully enveloped around the whole front side of the cabinet. That's dimmable from the wall switch only. Where in the right-hand facing page, you can see Ascension has the button on the front. That's dimmable from the button. Okay, we gave you one with the internal dimming, one with external dimming, because again, some people like it and some people don't. And then we have Simplicity on the right-hand facing page Dan shows you, which is just a lighted, non-lighted cabinet. Does have fog-free front, does have GFC inside the box and USB inside the box, just no forward-facing light. Okay. Frequently asked questions for med cabs. Makeup mirrors, again, I made mention of this. We don't make these in the U.S. We became the major player for every 4- and 5-star hotel. So listen, we don't want to buy big mirrors for you and small makeup mirrors from someone else. Back in the day when I was a kid, I'm dating myself. I'm 51 years old now. When I was a kid, every hotel had a makeup mirror. What happened was people hung clothes on them, kids pulled on them. It became a maintenance source and people stopped. The 4- and 5-star hotels still do it. And we sell a lot of these in the residential application as well. All 5-time magnification. I'm going to add a finish to this year. I'll add polished nickel as well as a couple of cool new styles coming out. Where do you see them? What we've been asked for is ones that can be actually moved around and as well as be, you can plug it in, you can charge it. So we'll have one that can be charged as well. Okay, so those will be coming out Q2 and Q3 as well this year in the book. Be the sticker section in the back of your book to update new products. Okay. 1-year warranty on the makeup mirrors. By the way, I didn't make mention of that. I want to make mention of that 1 year on the makeup mirrors. Fusion wardrobe mirrors. We had just Fusion last year. We've added Integrity back to the book. When we first came out, we launched Integrity and Fusion. Then people said, listen, you should never have a light bar going through your body. We sold a lot of these to the boutiques, women's shops. They said, listen, it does look kind of funny to have a light bar going to the bottom. So now what we found is this, in the hotels and the boutique shops, we did Fusion. But in custom homes, people, for the walk-in closets, people liked Integrity. So we sold more Integrities in custom homes than the Fusion when it came to walk-in closets. So we brought it back into the line. So you have two sizes, Integrity and Fusion, and those can be customized. We customize those probably 40% of the time. I just made one for Museum in Miami. They put them inside the men's and women's rooms, and they were actually 93 inches tall and 6 feet wide. They were stunning looking. They looked awesome. Something to think about there. Frequently asked questions for wardrobe mirrors. Fog-free mirrors in the shower. Hey, so guys, we're selling a ton of these again. What we found is that a lot of people like these because what they do is by being inside the shower unit, not having the net light right by the door in the vanity, it doesn't evade into the hallway when people get up in the middle of the night to use the facilities. So these come in 3 sizes, 1x1 square tile, 1x2 square tile, 12x28. Only the 12x28 you can see as a down light, which you have a niche below there. It lights up the shampoo niche, whatever you have inside that niche. Great mirrors for people aging in place to have that as a night light. So you put on a motion sensor when they get up in the middle of the night to use the facilities. The minute they cross the threshold, that pops on. It's not right in front of their face because it's offset in the shower. A little bit easier application on the eyes as well. Okay, so something to think about when you're designing a bathroom application. We do a lot of these on motion sensors where that becomes your night light in the motion sensor application mode.
10 minutes.
Okay. Flip the page for me.
Sorry. Hold on.
Frequently asked questions. One more page for me, Dan. Okay, so guys, TV covers. You know, we used to make what we call entertainment TVs, where we'd take an entertainment TV from 32 inch up to 85 inch. We'd embed it to the glass. And people would mount these historically, like in the master bedroom, where they didn't want to see a TV on the stand on the wall, or like above the mantelpiece, they didn't want to see a technology, a TV technology, in like a really high-end living room. The big play we got last year, we learned this from a designer in New York City, was the dining room. We never thought about the dining room. Think about how many people want a TV in the dining room. And in this case, the woman said, listen, 90% of the time, the husband wanted a TV in the dining room, and the wife was like, no way, Jose. So she came up with this idea. What she did was she sunk the wall mount inside the wall. So the glass sits so tight to the wall, when she puts a simple wooden frame on there to match the room decor, it looks like a formal dining room mirror. You can't even tell there's a TV in there. Whoa, the minute we started doing this, these took off. The beauty of us doing a cover rather than us epoxying it like the old way we used to do it, it's scalable. So if someone's got a 1080p TV today, they want to go 4K or 8K down the road, as long as they buy the same TV size, I can literally put this on your TV in 20 minutes. Guys, they look stunning. We sell a lot of these in those applications. Again, something to think about outside the box. Okay, there's a preview of one right there. Okay, so thinking outside the box for applications for these TV covers. Again, there's another application, Upper East Side Manhattan. Again, just a stunning look to that. When it's off, it just looks like a mirror. When it's on, it's a TV set. Your TV
Now,
set sits behind there, by the way. We don't sell the TV, just the mirror cover.
now this comes up all the time. I mean, I have people asking me for TV mirrors or what we call entertainment mirrors, which we still can do. If you go on the website, you'll still find them. We can still do them. Talk about the downfall of doing that versus the just using a TV cover, as far as using your own TV, being able to swap it out and upgrade TVs and still have the TV cover.
So great question. So Dan said too, so I tell you, one of the reasons we did this too is because in my world, I'm a plumber by trade. And I make a joke that plumbers are creatures of habit and averse to reading. If you get past that, plumbers are easy to work with, right? Now, AV guys, they're like pump guys. They're even more stringent. They don't bend. If they're a Sony guy, they only use Sony. If they're an LG, they only use LG. So this actually came up where we embedded one for a customer in California, 85-inch. And when we embed it, the TV's embedded to the glass. It's almost epoxy to it. It's very difficult to get off. You can only do it at the factory. So this guy had it up for like 9 months and called and said, listen, my kids were playing in the bedroom. My son threw a hairbrush at his sister. It went over her head, hit the glass, cracked the corner. We need a new one. And the owner said, we're not doing this anymore. And I said, why? I said, because number one, every time I do a Sony or an LG TV, I'm never going to sell that again. So my engineering time, I eat. We don't make any money on that. And there's about 12 to 18 hours engineering time every time we modify a product. I know it sounds strange, but even if we change it by 2 inches, there's a lot of work that goes into that to make sure it's going to work and be effective. So in this case, as Dan mentioned, what's the difference? Number one, the TV's not epoxied anymore, so I can quickly change it. It's scalable. As long as I buy the next TV size, I can change it up. I'm not locked into it. Number two, I'm not making a TV cover for, we're a Samsung house, so we were basically making them for Samsung TVs. Now I'm not tied to Samsung. I can use any TV that's out there. And the other thing is this, that it's a high-end product. So if you're going to leave your home, you're going to sell your home, you can actually take this product with you. You don't leave your TVs. You generally take your TVs with you, right? So you take this TV with you. Where it's embedded to the glass, it's a little bit harder to move, a little bit more cumbersome. So this gives us more range from electronic capability, more scalability from as the efficiencies of the TVs continue to change, and then remotely, you can move it anytime you want to move it. So there's much, and by the way, I didn't make mention this, the biggest thing, the 85-inch TV in the last price book had a list price of $40,000. That same TV now has a list price of under $3,000. So you can see it's $24.20. It's a fraction. It's less than a 16th of the cost. It's a fraction of the cost. So it's much more cheaper and much easier to do now. I got to tell you guys, we can't make these fast enough. We're selling a lot of these TV covers. People love the TV cover.
Okay, so we've got 5 minutes left. I'm going to open it up for questions, but first, I just want to talk about the history of Electric Mirror, the family. If you can just go over that, where it started and how the family runs.
So guys, Electric Mirror is located 25 miles north of Seattle in Everett, Washington. We're a family-based company. 2 brothers and their parents started this business 22 years ago, and they made a fog-free mirror. They made a 10-foot by 10-foot fog-free mirror for a spa, and then people started asking them to modify these, which they did. And then they started putting lights inside. So for the first 16 years, they only sold the hotels. They sold direct. They were the only ones making lighted mirrors for 16 years. No one else was even making them. Then the product became so prolific in the hotels that it migrated into residential. That's the cover that the channel that Dan and I cover. Now we became so prolific in that sense as well. Now you can see everyone comes in your showroom today with a knockoff mirror. I always try to appeal to people and say, guys, I want you to think about this, right? I'm never going to stop the knockoff craze in this country, but the knockoff craze is really about cheaper price point, right? Think about it. If you guys have kids or your brothers and sisters that have made it, think about them making a product. And after 15 years to make a product, some guy comes along, takes the design and runs to China and knocks it off. Would you be happy about that? Most people go, no. We're not happy about it either. The only one that can stop that is you guys. So in the end of the day, if we don't support knockoff stuff because it's cheaper, and if this, hate to say it, this pandemic hasn't shown us anything, this is part of it, right? We have great capabilities here in the US, but we go outside the box because we want it cheaper. How about we just pay for quality? We keep quality in the mix. Electric Mirror does little things like, I didn't make mention of this. If you send us a PO with 5 orders on there, 5 mirrors on there, we don't know if it's going to one house or 5 different houses. We always put your glass in the same float because glass floats will vary from float to float in color. Could be blue, bronze, green, brown, blackish, yellowish. We make sure you won't see it if it's in separate rooms, but if it was in the same room, having to have 2 mirrors in the same room, you'd see a difference in that color. So if you look at some of the knockoffs that are out there, that's some of the stuff you're going to see. So we're family made, family born. We're open today because we provide to the healthcare industry, so we're considered essential manufacturing. but we've been doing this for 22 years. We're the first ones to do it. Again, I don't mind Dervitt or Quaco, people that didn't knock us off with designs. Matter of fact, I like those guys because they set the design bar higher and make us go back to the drawing board and make cool stuff. But anyone could just take a Integrity like we made and run to China and knock it off a third of the price point and give you cheaper components. Again, we don't consider that classy. We just consider that someone doing what they're doing. And that's why I try to hit home with you guys. If someone in your family was in this business, someone did that, we'd be the first ones mad about doing it, but we support it every day by selling the knockoff stuff. So hopefully I've reached you a little bit there as well.
And keep in mind too, I mean, that does come up as far as somebody looking online and bringing a price in and saying, well, how come I can buy it online for this price and you're charging me this price? Well, not Electric Mirror, but the knockoffs. Well, what I always say is tell your customer we don't sell disposable mirrors. And they're going to say, what do you mean by that? And then you can kind of go into the story. Again, 7-year warranty, fully serviceable. When something does go wrong, it's technology. It's going to happen. Drivers will go out. LEDs will go out. It will happen with everybody, even Electric Mirror. But the difference is I can come in, and usually I'm the one servicing these mirrors. I can come in. I can change everything out. Steven told you it takes about 15 minutes to replace everything in that mirror. Then they have a brand new mirror. So they can actually do that for the lifetime that they have that mirror. Even after 7 years, they can still get the parts. They can still, I mean, usually when I go over to a house, the homeowner's there and I show them how to do it and they go, oh my God, that's really easy. I'm like, yeah, I know. That's why a sales rep goes out and does it. No electrician has to come back out to the job. He installs it one time. After that, everything is fully serviced by either us or, again, after 7 years, they can do it themselves. So it's a one-time purchase. They can have it forever rather than they buy it once, they have it for 2 years, then it goes out, then they have to throw it away. What usually happens in that case is they'll never buy a lighted mirror again because they just had to go through electricians and they go through the headaches.
That bad taste in the mouth.
Spend the money at the beginning, have it for a lifetime. You got to get that through to your customers or they're never going to get it. So that's why I touch on that.
Hey, what Dan was going to mention next was if you get those price sensitive customers, house flippers, guys that don't want to spend a lot of money, secondary baths, we have Cordova. So we launched a mid-tier product line that knocked ourselves off just to compete with those guys that came in the market space at a lower price point. If you look at that mirror, it's the same quality as Electric Mirror, just a little bit of differences, but for a small price, for small differences in functionality and quality, you're getting way more on the price sensitivity side of it. They're a third of the price point.
And so we've got a PK coming up on Cordova at 1:30, so hopefully everybody can be on there.
But again, if you don't know about Cordova, reach out to Dan and myself. We'd love to make sure you're aware of that. So when you have those price sensitivity issues come up, we can combat that. And I'm sure Dan, those folks out there from showrooms that have spiffs, we spiff everything on the line too. Again, my spiff's not to push the product. My spiff is a thank you to you guys for helping promote our product. We want to make sure you put the right product in the application, not just any old product in there. I'm not giving you a spiff to make sure you put my product in. I'm making sure I'm giving you a spiff because you put my product in the right application.
All right. Now's a good time to wrap it up. So thank you all for being on. Thanks, Steven. And if you have any questions after this, please reach out to us. Glad to help.
Thanks again.